Just testing this on. Like, check, 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 check. Don't know if my mic. I see it. See anybody in the chat? I didn't announce this. I'm just testing this out, checking in. Make sure all this stuff is working. Zane, if that's you, peace to you, brother. Zane, if you're there, let me know if you can hear me. I said I'm still getting notified. All right. Long time. It's been a long time. Haven't been live in a long time. Just setting some things up so I can start streaming again. But hopefully you can hear me. I haven't seen you indicate that you can hear me. I don't have a microphone. I'm using the computer's mic right now. So hopefully I can be heard. Check. I see the green light. Oh, you said absolutely. All right. Cool. Yeah, all right. So I'm just checking these things out, prepping things for when I do live stream, because I'm going to be starting to go live on this channel, the Sesh, with all Kemet related topics and things like that, as we did in the past. But I'm also going to live stream on my YouTube channel under my name, Wujao. And over there, I'm going to talk about other topics such as health, politics, finances, whatever. But over here, I'm gonna keep it pretty narrowly focused on Kemet, things related to ancient Egypt, Kemet, the language. Um, Hope all is good. I'm on my way to work. Oh yeah, Zane, you always on your way to work. It's 10:30. How many jobs do you have? Zane has like 5,000 jobs, boy. Yeah, anyway. So if I could be heard, the camera's over here. So I'm not looking right at the camera. It should zoom in. There you go. There you go. He said, I need another one entirely. Yeah, you need to get good, solid Ramza feeling rusty. Yeah, it's been a minute, Ramza. Peace to you. Sadiq, peace. Oh, I'm frozen. I'm not moving around. If I'm frozen, yeah, I'm not sure. Am I frozen for everybody? Ramza, peace, peace, Sadiq. I see. Oh, you said good now. Okay. All right. That's good. That's good. That's good. Yeah, anyway, I'm just prepping things, putting some oil on the gears. It's been everything kind of rusted and been sitting, got to blow the dust off of the live streaming, um, all the live streaming things. Um, so I'm gonna get back into live streaming. Like I said, on this channel, the Seshu, just kind of continue to do the things that we used to do. Keep things focused on anything remotely related to Kemet, but really in a progressive way though, because something that I don't see people do, and if so, not nearly often enough, is to use Kemet in this instance as a resource on solutions for right now. Like what can be learned from ancient Egypt and what's useful, what's applicable, you know. I still see a lot of people, one, I still see people arguing over the same stuff. I mean, to me, I'm not even going to get into that. But even those people who are seriously studying ancient Egypt or Kemet, I don't see enough people using it as a resource to kind of extract valuable insight on what can be applicable today. How can we learn from ancient Egypt? And this goes for any studied civilization. This is the approach that we should have. I mean, Kemet is gone. The people are gone. People that go over and take tours to Egypt, you're not going over there to see Kemet. You're going to Egypt. You're going to the Arab Republic of Egypt, going over there looking at a civilization's dead corpse. And with that, you study it and you try to find out what is useful, what is applicable. And this goes for anything that people study from the past. So anyway, that's what narrowly I'm gonna keep it narrowly focused on Kemet related issues, anything that could be tied into Kemet. But on my other channel, so if you all are not aware of my other channel, just put in a search on YouTube, Wujao, my name, and I have another channel where I'm gonna, you know, be discussing anything that's not Kemet related, health, politics, finances, all that good stuff. Um, I'm gonna kick that back off because if you go to the channel now, you'll see where I used to actually talk about all the things I just mentioned. And it was really during a time when HR 40 and the elections were going on, when I was explaining what HR 40 is, reparations, restorative justice claims, and things like that. I was clarifying a lot of that stuff. There was a bunch of confusion with that and chaos. So, so there's some videos there already, but make sure you subscribe and participate because I'm a engaging type of person. I want to have discussions, progressive discussions. I'm not talking about the same old circular stuff where where the same stuff is being argued uh till the wheels fall off for no reason. I don't see any progress. I'm gonna do a show with my thoughts on the state of the so-called conscious community. And since I've been, you know, absent from the live streaming streets, the YouTube streets, what I've been seeing and stuff like that, I mean, it's crazy. And sometimes it's good to have that kind of discussion because sometimes when you are entrenched into things on the front lines, you know, knee deep in the mud and stuff, sometimes you can't see what it is that you yourself is doing, what you're doing, you know. And so sometimes it takes somebody who has stepped back, observed, analyzed, taking notes and things like that to have a discussion to kind of wake things up. So I do want to have that kind of discussion. Maybe some people will realize, like, wait a minute, man, we arguing, talking about the same stuff. There's no progress. Are we moving forward? Are we going back? Are we stuck? Are we in quicksand? Like, what is it for? So all of those good things. Peace, Master Khalid. Everything is everything. What's good, my white brother? Ha, he said, what's good, my white brother? He said, what's good, my white brother? I think he's talking about I don't know why Siri activated here on my phone. He talking about the racial hierarchy, but all that good stuff. So anyway, I'm just here tonight, Friday night, testing things out. Now, it is a lot to talk about politically. I, man, politics, government, the administration, Trump administration, MAGA, um, the most recent with the unfortunate assassination of Charlie Kirk, and a lot of that. I mean, it's a lot of things to talk about, you know. And really, I don't understand. I feel that anybody that has a platform on YouTube, an established platform on YouTube, out or within the so-called conscious community, if not for them to stop what they're doing or stop talking about the topics that they are known to talk about, but if people's channels don't mature and move with the times and also include, I'm not saying to switch up or anything, but also include topics on politics, the government, the current events, health, financial health, physical health, because everybody's getting older. Nobody's getting younger. All these people, everybody, including myself, everybody is getting older and just like life, the older you get, the more mature you become. You're supposed to become. So the conversation should reflect that. So, people can keep doing what they're doing, but you know, I hope because I haven't been paying close attention to where, I'm into the details of anything, but hopefully people have adjusted and also incorporate other things outside of the fussing and fighting about the same old retarded stuff, you know, that I have been seeing. But it's a lot to talk about. So anyway, I'm just preparing things here to start going live again. And those who are interested, come kick it, have a discussion. I like participation. I like, having a panel of discussions, people putting forth their ideas in a very intellectual, respectful, professional way. We got, any disagreements, find solutions. And if a solution can't be found, then, you respectfully acknowledge the disagreements. If nothing could be done, you give it a shot. That's how it should be. But yeah, peace to a few of y'all who tuned in. So I'm glad that you all must be getting notifications because I definitely didn't announce this. I just clicked live just to make sure I'm checking um, the camera here, the actual channel, make sure I could still stream to the channel itself because it's been a long time. And actually the streaming software that I used to, I'm coming straight from Zoom right now. The streaming software that I have, I haven't used it in so long that I'm not even subscribed to it. A lot of people are using StreamYard. I never used StreamYard. I was a Restream user. So I'm not sure which streaming um platform to even use. Back then I know Restream edged out StreamYard in feature by feature comparison. So that's why I went with Restream. But now I don't know. So I'm gonna figure that out. Zoom is always good to go. But anyway, maybe one of y'all could tell me what's the best streaming platform nowadays? I see people connecting Discord to YouTube, but Discord is not really a streaming platform. No Twitch and all those, but one of you guys let me know before I shut this checking in. But yeah, since you all are here, I don't know, I got a few people watching. What's been going on? Zay, I know you say you're on your way to work. Everything is everything. I know you kind of stay in tune with what's going on. What's been going on? What's the topics what topics interest you that's been talked about or being talked about now? Master Khalik, same for you. Sadiq, if you still there, and none of y'all better not tell me the Black Egypt thing. But yeah, what's the topics? It says the mountaintop, best stream ever. Mountaintop. Ramsey said the mountaintop. Is that a see Ramsey, I can't tell if you serious or joking. Hmm. See this delay. See, that's why I like participation. I like the panel where I can hear people's voices and people could talk because I feel like I'm talking to myself, then I have to wait for for you all to reply. And I gotta get used to this again. I got my camera on, I used to have my camera on for a long time, then I didn't have my camera on. I actually didn't have a camera, a proper camera. Got a camera on now and I gotta get used to this. It's a little awkward for me. Benny, peace to you. Hieratic glyphs. Okay, so I'm guessing that that's like a topic that you are saying that's yeah, you all give me some ideas for this channel. Remember, this channel is narrow, I want to keep it kind of focused on Kemet related things, specifically language, because language is a doorway to understanding the culture. You all know what I advocate about that. Um, Give me some ideas for topics to get into. But I was also asking you all update me on the best streaming platform. As I said, it's been a long time and I never I never jumped on StreamYard. I know a lot of people use that. I chose Restream when we were streaming before. But now I have neither or nothing. I'm coming from Zoom right now. So you all let me know those two things. Some topics, give me some topic ideas, and then put me up on the latest and greatest streaming platform. All right. So that's what I'm looking for. So I'm just looking at the chats. But peace to everybody. It's been a minute. They say you've been set the record on Black Egypt. Master Click, a lot of people would disagree with you. As far as setting the record straight on Black Egypt. And from what I could tell, boy, um, people still arguing over that stuff. Um, Sadiq, Black Egypt hasn't gone anywhere, but overall it's been a little dead. Okay. Well, I kind of figured Black Egypt is destined to go nowhere. Black Egypt was born. That topic is born to go nowhere. is genetically predispositioned to go nowhere. I'm telling you. Um, with African American audience is the most time going to be Christianity centered. Got to break down completely first. Oh, Christianity? Well, I'm definitely not doing that on this channel. What's the actual DNA results on the ancient Egyptians? Okay, so these are topic ideas. Well, I know that the most recent study is kind of fairly old news now, but that most recent study um that came out fairly recently, maybe what, 2 months ago now. I know that stirred the pot up a bit, you know. So that could be a topic to kind of just give a summary about that study. That's something to discuss. And what does it mean? What's the impact of that? What's the impact of any of those studies? You know, Zane, I'm interested in the aesthetics and what made them design architecture in the way that they did. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, so these comments won't be saved on here, so I'm just, taking it in. All right. Um, but Ramza, you said the best stream ever. You were dead serious. So that's okay. So Mountaintop, never heard of it. What else? What else? What else? What else? How's everybody doing on the language, the study of the language? Tell me that. Where would you put yourself? So let me set the range. So from 1 to 10, where are you? Where do you feel you are in the study of the language, the ancient Egyptian writing system and the language, grammar, which includes morphology and syntax. So where do you feel that you are in the study of the language from 1 to 10? So 1 being a straight up beginner where you're just now becoming familiar with the monoliterals and biliterals, triliterals, and things like that, just coming across it for the first time. That's 1. Or 10, you feel competent and proficient in the writing system and the grammar. You can break down all the different word classes or so-called parts of speech. You could break down the verbal system, the clauses, sentences, forwards and backwards, all of the different constructions and everything. That's 10. So between 1 and 10, where would you put yourself? And, obviously, I'm looking for honesty, where you feel that you are. Master Cleek says 1, Ramza completely illiterate. 1, Alex, Alexis says point 0.8. So you on the other side of the 1, goodness. Um, oh, Zane says he's back to 3. Okay. Well, if you back to 3, where do you feel you were? Where were you? That's to Zane. Peace, Philaitis. Can't believe my eyes right now. Yeah, this is the ghost of Wujiao's Christmas past, live and direct. Yeah, Zane, where do you feel you were? What number you feel you were? I'm just curious. But now I'm asking this question. One, just trying to check in and see where everybody is because, like I said, it's been a minute. Oh, he said I feel like I was at a 7. Okay, Zane. All right, you were at a 7. Now you back to 3, so you dropped down 4 notches. All right, we're gonna get you back up there. But I'm asking this to kind of check in to see where you guys feel that you are, but at the same time to continue to drive a point that I'm assuming that all of you all are students of Kemet, students of the ancient Egyptian culture for whatever your reasons are. So I'm going to assume that, and that's what I assume about anyone who I come across as in in this context, especially on our channel. And the point I always drive home, and I can't emphasize enough, is that if you're going to study ancient Egypt, aka Kemet, Simatawi, Tawi, by whatever name you know and comfortable with, if you're going to study it, there is a must, must, important thing to do that properly. And that is to become acquainted with the language. You have to. There's no getting around it. And this goes not just for Egypt, but it's any historical or ancient culture, even contemporary ones. So, for example, I always give, if you intend on being the best Muslim that you could be, then it is in your best interest to learn Arabic. And the reason should be obvious. Islam permeates by way of Arabic. Everything about Islam is swimming in the Arabic language. The Quran is written in Arabic. To be an imam, which is one who is up front, a leader of a congregation, to be able to read the Quran, to be able to teach and everything about the Quran, you should know Arabic. Same thing with a rabbi in the Jewish branch of the Abrahamic belief systems or Israelites. You should know Hebrew. Imagine an imam, like seriously try to imagine an imam that didn't know Arabic. That would seem real weird. That would just be totally out of place. Same thing with a rabbi. I personally don't know of any rabbi that don't know Hebrew. And likewise, I don't know any imam that doesn't know Arabic. Not me. And now, obviously, anybody can claim to be a rabbi, claim to be an imam, but the real deal ones, they know those respective languages. So anyway, likewise, if you're going to study ancient Egypt, Kemet, and definitely if you're going to start a podcast or whatever and start trying to influence people's thoughts on ancient Egypt, whether you call yourself a teacher or whatever the case is, then you definitely need to have some acquaintance with the language because that's the only way that you're going to be able to have some kind of competency on the culture. And so that's why I ask questions like that. Where does everyone feel that they are with the language? You know? Now, even if you're not planning on teaching it, you just want to learn. Likewise, it's the same thing is still stands. That's why I said even if you want to be the best Muslim, you don't plan to be an imam or anything like that. You just want to be a best Muslim. You still need to learn Arabic. If you want to be the best student of Kemet, to learn from Kemet, the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever, you got to go by way of the language. It's that simple. Yes, Zane wasn't, Ramza said, Zane wasn't nowhere near a seven or a four. You see, everybody have different scales. That's why I said one being a straight beginner, 10 being a person who's well equipped, well versed, well equipped. Now we're all always learning, so I don't want to quite say mastered like past tense, but 10 would be somebody who is well versed in the writing system, the grammar, the morphology and syntax of the language and everything. Can break things down when asked questions, can give examples, give analogies, everything. That would be a 10. So from 1 to 10, that's the range that I was setting up. Alexis, I studied the etymology of American English words, and I wonder why the lexicographers always stop at Latin, Greek, Hebrew, and never trace any words back to Egypt. Didn't the Greek borrow words? Um, well, yeah, the answer to that part is yes. The short answer is yes. A lot of language, speech communities or language groups of people borrow words. That's a common phenomenon between different languages. Anytime you have cross-pollination of the people of different languages, of speech communities coming together, whether it's for trade, war, or whatever, there's going to be some exchange, some borrowing. But you know what's funny is borrowing is a misnomer. Um, because they don't give them back. You know, if you borrow if you borrow some money, you have to give it back. But when people borrow words, they don't give them back. So that's just a funny misnomer about borrowing. Um, but yeah, to answer your question. Now, why the lexicographers always stop at Latin and Greek? Um, they may rightfully stop where they should, you know. So that is the most likely reason because a lot of English, English is a Germanic language. It's part of the Germanic uh, language group. And in English, the English language has borrowed heavily from Latin, Greek, and French. Um, and a lot of people think that, English comes, so many Latin type of words that, we are in the romance category of languages, but it's a Germanic language. English is Germanic. But so a lot of that, they rightfully stop where they should. But then on the ones where they stop prematurely, it is that part is influenced because of the way that language families have been propagated. You have Indo-European languages, you have African languages, and then all of the branches of African languages. And these branches or these categories were set up and propagated over time that it's become the norm. And so, for example, a language like ancient Egyptian is considered an Afro-Asiatic language, but within that macro phyla of Afro-Asiatic, they say Egyptian stands on its own. And so if you accept that and you're constantly told that, then when you research, you tend to feel that there's no need to compare ancient Egyptian with any language outside of Afro-Asiatic. And so a lot of these lexicographers or linguists, even historical comparative linguists, they're not asking those kind of research questions. They're not probing and curious. It doesn't spark their curiosity because in their, according to them, they've already set up their parameters. Okay, Egyptian is an Afro-Asiatic language, therefore it can't be and it is not related to Niger Congo languages. Because if it was, then it would totally destroy the fact that, okay, Egyptian is an Afro-Asiatic language, and it stands on its own within that microphyla. So things like that influence what you're asking about. So hopefully that that makes that clear. So if you ever really want to know, that's when you have to learn yourself. You have to learn how to do the work yourself and do your own comparisons. And then just follow the evidence. Follow the evidence. Be scientific about it. Yep. 2,300 years of stagnation and chaos isn't much anyway. All these years and still can't be direct. Mm. I'm trying to. Oh, they have to memorize songs and scriptures to get those positions. Oh, talking about rabbis and imams. Yeah. At certain times, imams and rabbis, yeah, you have to be able to recite. I know on the Islam side, you have to be able to recite entire prayers or entire chapters, surahs in the Quran, things like that. If I like to, so will the Freestyle Fridays and somebody don't start back again? Yep, Freestyle Fridays. We're gonna start that back up. Sabite Dome, yep, all of that. All of that. Yep, 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 yep. We're gonna start all that back up. So so that's something to look forward to. But if I lighten to this and everybody here who's watching right now, hopefully you guys will participate because that's what I want to encourage participation. Don't be afraid. This is not, you know, my stance hasn't changed on the behavior that all of you all witness, continue to witness in terms of the YouTube streets, Facebook, the social media environment. I feel that it is too adversarial. Everything is a conflict. That's why I call it a conflict community. Every like arguing, fussing, and fighting has have become such a norm now that I don't think people know how to agree when they actually agree. I don't think a lot of people know how to recognize when they actually agree on something. I've listened to a discussion not too long ago, and I'm listening, and the two people are arguing as if they're opposing one another, but they're really saying the same thing, just in a different way. But the ability to kind of discern that, to be able to see, it's amazing how people can't see that, you know. And that's where it is. A lot of times, conflicts. That's the new currency out there, you know. So my stance hasn't changed on that. I think all of that is destructive and detrimental to any progress. It's good for likes, it's good for views, but it's detrimental for everything else. Gives the appearance that you're talking about something and it gives you something to do, but nobody's really going anywhere. Nobody's really going anywhere. Trust me, y'all can put links to videos that you feel that I should watch from recent live streams or whatever. And I haven't been live in a very long time. I took a hiatus, then I went live a few times, then I took another hiatus before right now. And if you add all of that up, I guarantee you, there's really nothing you can show me on any of these platforms that's new. That's not the same stuff that I've seen and seen from 4 years ago going backwards to 2009, 2008. I'm telling you, it's 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 amazing how, stuck everything is. Sometimes the people will change, but it's the same stuff being argued. in a bad way. It's not argued for solution, you know. Anyway, um, but yeah, just trying to check in to see where everybody's at. Um, who's actually tuned in. Appreciate y'all tuning in on my test and check in. But I've tested everything. Like I said, I gotta have this camera here. I'm not using a microphone, and I don't know how well y'all can hear me. I know you all can hear me, but I don't know how well you all can hear me. But my microphone I used to use it's I'm looking down at it, but it's kind of ran its course. It's got a little damaged. So I'll be getting a microphone, proper microphone, all of that good stuff. But what are some other topics? So I see Alexis has that question. Cast down playing the Greeks in Egypt. 2,300 years of ruling isn't a brief time. Yeah, Ramsey, you're gonna have to explain that one. I don't take any mythology for real. The deep meaning behind, hold up. Yes, I'm on Zoom. I can't even jumbo jam your comments on the screen, but I'm just reading them. So I don't take Ramza. I don't take any mythologies for real. There's deep meaning behind it all from all writings back then. Okay. I feel you, but we need to address the propaganda and scientism that was going on. I feel that's necessary to really set yourself apart in this day and age when it's rampant. Yeah, if you stick to the conscious community. All right. They're only ones playing that same old game. Other communities are not, and are actually sharing the real information instead of gaslighting, lying, and faking like they know science. Hmm. Well, like I said, so this is what you all can expect from me. Again, on this channel, the Sesh channel, all things Kemet. Um, my stance, my advocacy is the same. I feel that everyone who chooses to study Kemet in any form or fashion needs to do so by way of the language. And I'm here to help with that. All right. I've been teaching the language for roughly 15 plus years now. The writing system, its grammar, and everything like that. So I'm here to help. So any questions, any self-studying that you're doing, when you reach a brick wall or whatever the case is, I'm here to help you break down those brick walls. If you're interested in a full-blown course, we have those going on as well, beginners level and an advanced level. I will be publishing a full-blown Egyptian grammar book. And that's long, long, long overdue. I won't even talk about when I was originally planning on publishing the book, but that's still on the table to be done. All right. So I'm here to help with that in terms of um, everything else with Kemet, because once you have some acquaintance with the language, then you could start to better understand the culture. Then you could start to discern and see what's useful, what they got right, what they got wrong, the good, the bad, the mistakes, the success of these ancient people. Once you're able to separate that out and organize that, then you like, okay, well, wait a minute, what can we learn today? What can we do today? Or what did they do back then that's useful today and practical, applicable, whether it's concepts, ideas, or tangible things, or whatever the case is. How to approach things. What was the mindset? What about the genius of the people? All those kinds of things. But see, you can't even get to that point until you have some kind of familiarity with the language. Otherwise, you're in a perpetual dependency. If you know nothing about the language at all, then you are alienating yourself from the actual primary source material and resources that ancient Egypt left behind that survived today. And so then you are totally relying on other people's views and interpretation of that, not knowing how well they're acquainted with the process. Do they look at it through the lens of X, Y, and Z? And that's been a big problem because Egypt has been translated and presented through the lens of biblical archaeology, the Abrahamic traditions, and things like that. And very, very few presentations of Egypt has been done through the lens of a greater link with other African contexts. That's starting to grow a little bit more now, but in the history of Egyptology, that hasn't been done. Relatively speaking, it's hasn't really been done. So it's always compared to Abrahamic traditions, the Egyptian heaven or hell. Like when you say that, it triggers the Egyptian gods. How do the Egyptians view God, singular, or gods, heaven, hell, afterlife? You can't help but to see how it's presented through the lens of the Abrahamic traditions, you know. So learning the language will allow you to become more acquainted and to be able to probe those kind of questions and things yourself. And that's the position you want to be in. And even that's not for everybody, and I understand it. Those people who don't have time or the interest in doing that, I don't I'm not here to judge people that do that. But what I am against is people who are in those positions who don't have the time to do that, but they don't recognize that. And then they will jump on, for example, they'll jump on YouTube and try to argue about things that they haven't even put in the work to understand themselves. That's where I have a problem. That's where I have a problem. That's the difference. I don't knock anybody for because everybody have their interests and focus and what they can and cannot do. That's, all of us have that. Like for me, for example, I'm not going to sit here and argue. You'll never see me debating, arguing, fussing, and fighting with anyone about something that I don't study myself in a beyond the surface way. That's why you don't see me debating out here on anything. And even the things I do study, I think some of these people that are debating, they're not really debating. But that's a whole nother thing. Alexis, how did the ancient treat their children? Okay, was physical punishment like whipping a practice? Okay, so those kind of topics. Basically domestic behavior. And that's a good topic to kind of touch on, period, because when you talk about ancient Egypt, a lot of conversations tend to lose the realism of that these were people. These were everyday regular people, you know, regular same thing with the Bible too. People who follow the Bible as the word of God and things like that. You hear it being talked about, but you don't hear just the day-to-day stuff. But anyways, it's good to kind of discuss those things to put more realism on this. They had their ups and downs. They had their corner corner what do you call it? Junkies or whatever, they had the elite, they had the whole nine. Egypt wasn't this utopia, this heavenly utopia that was all perfect and stuff like that. Ramza, I know you're one of the best in the world at criminology. Um, well, I appreciate the comment, but I do my best to be humble enough to know that like I'm always learning and willing to learn, you know. I'm actually thirsty to learn. I would love for other people to show me and teach me things about whatever it is I'm studying beyond what I already know or think I know. I'm a person that definitely follows the evidence in terms of what I feel I already know. If information is presented to me on the contrary to something that I feel that I already have a grip on, I'm still always open for that. And that's how science actually works because you're loyal to the evidence, you're loyal to the facts, not to any particular personality, person, or whatever the case is, and you go wherever the evidence goes. Evidence becomes wind, and you a sail. So wherever the wind blows, that's where you go. So wherever the evidence takes you, that's where you should go. And that's just it. And if you keep that in mind, then um you always find yourself engaging in a progressive dialogue with people, you know. And it's always good to do that because sometimes what you know and another person feels that they know that may be in conflict with what you know, when you have that conversation, at that moment, that person may realize, okay, well, my premise was wrong, or I went about it the wrong way. Now I understand, or vice versa. And so that's where true, actual, the benefit of debating comes into play. Real debating, not the stuff you see in the conflict community. What's the whole meaning of the was Jed over the Nebo? Okay. Now, I'm not trying to answer, like get real nitty gritty with these questions right now, but this is going to be recorded in the chat, and I'm gonna come back to it. So these are going to be kind of topics that I'll start off and discuss and get some, discussion around. So the meaning of the was and Jed over the Nebo. What was the meaning for that? Um, So not to leave you hanging, Philaitis, but that could be further discussed. But when I just read your question, I'm going to use your question to emphasize this is one of the reasons why learning the language is very helpful, beneficial, and critical, is because um that is an actual phrase. When you see the unk or the was, unk, and jed over the neb bowl, that's actually a statement. The neb in that instance is the word is equivalent to our English word all. So it's all life, all stability, all dominion. So was all dominion, all life, all stability. So you won't see that in complete isolation like that because it's not really saying anything because you're like, well, all dominion, all life, all stability to who or for what? So it's usually within some kind of context, but just that right there lets you know that if you know the language, you'll know that when you see those glyphs and the neb bo, which you call a neb bo, it's the word neb meaning all, not neb meaning Lord. That's a totally different word, although it's transliterated identically. So it's a homograph in terms of transliteration, but we don't know how it was pronounced. Neb meaning all could have been Nob, and Neb meaning Lord could have been noob or whatever, just to give you an example. But that's a statement, that's a phrase. All dominion, all life, all stability. So we could talk more into that, you know, um, in a future discussion. Uh, Venice. My boy, where you been? Damn, you been needed. He's laughing. Listen, life's lifing, life has been lifing, been just doing my thing, you know. So but peace to you. And if you just joined in, like I said, I was saying I just came on here to kind of kick the tires around, make sure that the channel is actually I could still stream to the channel, make sure nothing was blocked or shut down because I haven't been live streaming on this channel. And then also get things ready for when I do live stream. And I just reminding everybody that this channel, the Sesh channel, is all things Kemet. Try to keep things in a very beneficial, helpful way for people who are learning the language, the culture, things like that, in hopes to have conversations to extract, like use Egypt as a resource to extract beneficial things, applicable things, like what's useful now, not for just the purpose of showboating or finding out something to go back somewhere else and argue, fuss and fight with somebody else. Other people do that. I'm just not really into that. I don't see that going anywhere. So, but I want everybody to know that make sure you go to my channel under my name, Wujao, and just subscribe so you'll know when I go live there because on that channel I'm going to talk about other things because I'm heavy into politics, sociology, politics, health, because we're all getting older. I was born in the 70s. All right. So y'all can kind of guess how old I am. I'm in my 50s. And everybody in their 40s and 50s, if you're not elevating your focus in the areas of health and things like that, something is wrong with you. So I feel that as people mature, certain health things, should be more in the forefront. So I like to talk about health issues. And me, I am a certified nutrition coach. I'm a certified, um, and so I deal with that. I deal with people, I deal with clients and stuff like that. As that's something else that I do, and so health is a big topic, is a big thing for me. Financial health, um, of course, physical health, politics, and things like that. So anyway, that's what I'll be discussing and engaging with on my other channel. So make sure you subscribe to the other channel. It's just my name, Wujao. Just search for it and you'll see it. Just subscribe to that. Yep. But over here, everything, all things Egypt, all things Egypt. Let's see. So hold up. I should probably unsubscribe. Most of my energy is towards fully breaking down every detail of Christianity and meanings. Ramsey, you don't have to unsubscribe or anything like that, if that's what you're talking about. Alexis, how did the ancient Egyptians, oh, they treat their children right? Um, Philaitis, oh, I'm going backwards too far. Rams, yes, I could sleep and learn. Rams, I'm still trying. Rams, where are you located? Because I don't know. I see your name and I always picture you in a far off time zone. Where are you located again? Philaitis, exactly. Okay, Venice, people been all over this black thing. We need your opinion. Well, that is going to be, I don't know. The black thing, I've said everything I need to say on that. Like we have videos on this channel. So if you want to know about my stance on Black Egypt, I've it's at a point where I've been there, done that. Yep. I think that that entire conversation is the equivalent of people still talking about whether the earth is flat or not. That's just how I feel about it. I think it is a dead end. It's the conversation is so dead that it's mummified and people refuse to bury it. It's like the body is right there rotting. That's how dead the conversation is. But they refuse to bury it. They keep talking about the body sitting there. It's crazy. It's crazy. Um, what else? Not evident. Okay, does it represent that dominion, life, stability exists on in all things in the universe, like within material objects? Okay, I'll remember that question for further discussion on that. Phyllitis. Oh, Vince said would never guess 50. Yeah, I'm in my 50s. My 50s. Yep, yep, yep. Phyllitis Wu eats Asar greens daily. That's how he stays. Nah, listen, I've learned a lot. I've been a certified. I've been, obviously the older we get, everybody should. The older you get, listen, I don't know how old everybody is here, but if you're in your 40s or above, you need to make time out of your 360 piece of the pie of time. You better make a bigger slice of time and dedicate it towards you know becoming more competent in health. you know you have to. I'm telling you, the older you get, it should be it should be a natural progression in what we focus on. We're not getting any younger. You know what I mean? It's just a part of life's maturity. You better start paying attention, because when we're young, we trust me, the human body is an amazing machine. It can take a lot of abuse, but that abuse that it can take a lot of is when we're young. And so a lot of times when we're young, when we're in our teens, when we're in our 20s, and even in our 30s a bit, we abuse our bodies without knowing it, because our bodies can handle it in such a good way, unless you do something extreme, extreme. I'm talking about extreme stuff, but our bodies can handle it to where you don't realize it until you are in your 40s and 50s, and you can't go backwards. So when you're in your 40s and 50s, a lot of times we're doing damage control, which at that age the body has room to do. You can kind of start to make adjustments in your lifestyle and what you do to counter the abuse that you've done. Whereas, it's not too late or anything. But when you're talking about your upper 50s and you get into your 60s and then you want to start, nah, you forfeited your 40 decade, your that 10 years of in your 40s and 50s, where you can get a grip on doing better health wise. So anyway, that's so me personally, as I got older, it's like, you start to it just makes sense that you start to focus on what the body needs and things like that. So anyway, I chose to kind of have discussions and start to help people by becoming certified, because I wanted to have some kind of grounding, not these scam artists out here and these people who are pretending to be doctors and stuff like that, um, trying to diagnose people and give medical advice, knowing good and well that they have no business doing that. So I became a certified nutrition coach so that I can, have some grounding in sharing things and having discussions and stuff and helping people out. So I've been doing that, but I've been doing that for 2 years and some change. All right, almost 3 years. So anyway, that's um that's something else that I do. I know a lot of people don't know that, but I do that as well. And what's interesting is, and I've learned a lot, always constantly learning things. But going back into the ancient Egyptian studies, and you look at health, you kind of comb through ancient Egyptian studies and stuff dealing with health and medical things. Obviously, you had a medical papyri. Um, but if you really think about how the ancient Egyptians viewed health, it's 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 um it's very, very interesting. The Sunu is the Egyptian word for physicians, medical physicians, so doctors. So the Sunu among the ancient Egyptians, or the Remech, their patron deity was Sekhmet. And what's fascinating is that the stories centered around Sekhmet, if you have an understanding about health and how the body works, and specifically how the immune system works in the human body, and you start to see the mythos and the stories around Sekhmet and the relationship that the Sunu, which are the doctors, had with Sekhmet and all that other kind of stuff, is very, very interesting. I'm not going to, I have no time to deal with that right now, but it's very interesting. So those kind of conversations, that'd be some more topics to discuss and talk about. Oh, Ramses says he's in Rhode Island. Okay. So you're on the East Coast. Rams, I don't know why I thought that you were over there in I don't know, Rams. I thought you were over there in either um East Africa, uh Yemen, Saudi Arabia, somewhere. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Because I see your name, Ramza. I'm thinking Hamza, you know. Anyway, uh Felix, I'm 38. I'm about to get back to fasting and doing mostly vegetable diet. Okay, and completely staying away from sugar. Yep. Sugar is definitely a big problem. Added sugar, not obviously foods and things have its natural quantities of sugar, but added sugar is definitely a bad, bad, bad thing that people are having problems with. But yeah, that's good. But so anyway, health topics, I want to discuss that on my Wujao channel to really take a deep dive on things like that. Because I remember when the pandemic was happening, because even on that channel, even on my YouTube channel now, my Wujao channel, um, I was active during the pandemic. So on that channel, I think you'll see me talk about the immune system, um, and the COVID virus vaccines and all that kind of stuff too, as well. All right. So Sokar isn't the god of death for no reason to the Ramich. When I did that, I lost 200. Whoa, I lost 250 pounds years ago. I got back to eating breads and picked back up a little. Wait a minute, you lost 250? Is that 25 pounds or 250 pounds? So you lost 250 pounds? That's got to be a typo. That's a typo. Yeah, you gotta repeat that. Not saying it can't be done, obviously, but nah, I don't know. I believe, well, I am in East Africa when I'm watching. But I said, yes, he lost 250 pounds. Wow. That's a that's a lot. That is a lot. Hmm. Miss Sincere, peace. Peace to everyone. Maybe some discussion on Sobek. Okay. So I definitely keep that in mind. Sobek. Now, because you mentioned Sobek, Miss Sincere, I do need some clarification because there's some understanding of Sobek to be a canine deity among certain groups of people that deal with ancient Egypt. So, for example, the Asar Set Society, if I don't know if you're familiar with them, but the Asar Set Society um, presents Sobek as a jackal deity or a canine deity, and not the crocodile deity. So, just for clarification, any discussions on Sobek, I gotta kind of make sure we um, tease that out a bit. Why the Sarset Society does that? Is it true to ancient Egyptian representations of Sobek or not? And then get into Sobek, the deity, you know, all that good stuff. Yeah. Whoa, if I like this, at my max, I was at 516 pounds, lost 250, did it slow over the years while I did Muay Thai. So I didn't have crazy excess skin after that and taking supplements to help. Okay. Well, that's definitely the healthy way to lose a lot. That much weight is definitely over a long period of time. Definitely. I've seen people who try to lose weight, too much weight too fast. And even with Ozempic and this GL1, GLP-1 prescriptions and things like that, people are so into that stuff now. I don't think that should be promoted the way it does because people are being extreme with it. People are losing too much weight too fast, and that's not healthy. That's definitely not healthy. I mean, there's a whole bunch of data on that, on why that's not the healthy route to go. There's a healthy way of doing things, and there's an unhealthy way. There's a way that obviously it won't kill you, and people still do it, but then there's obviously just better ways of doing things, you know, and you always want to go with the best move. But yeah, now I wouldn't have known that. I don't know. I've never seen a picture of you to even have any kind of judgment, or whatever. But man, that's a big accomplishment to lose 250 pounds. But hey, man, that's great. That's excellent. That is excellent. A lot of people can't do that. 516? Wow. Wow. Man, that is great. That is great. So anyway, what time is it? It is 11:39. I'm on the East Coast. Where's everybody at? Rams, I know you're in Rhode Island, but where's everybody else at who's tuned in? I'm in Georgia. And what's crazy is that it's in terms of social media, anybody in Georgia, they always say Atlanta. Don't even live in Atlanta, but people always say Atlanta because obviously people know Atlanta. It's like Atlanta, people know ATL, Atlanta, Atlanta. So I just say Georgia, but I'm close enough to Atlanta to say Atlanta, but I don't live in Atlanta. And if I tell y'all where I live, you never heard of it, or it's rare. So that's why people say Atlanta, and I'm sure people do that with other places too. Oh yeah, yeah, I'm from Houston. I'm in Houston, or whatever. You be right not in Houston for real, proper. You be out on the outskirts, beyond the Beltway or whatever. I'm in Dallas. But yeah, where is everybody from? Yeah, no way you got tons, Lucy. Okay. But Miss Sincere, going back to you, you said sounds good. Okay. So yeah, I was just saying, yeah, that for a future discussion, we could talk about Sobek. But like I said, we have to differentiate Sobek, the jackal or the deity, the canine that people are familiar with through Sarset Society versus Sobek the crocodile and why and all that good stuff. But is there anything specific about Sobek that interests you? Maybe you can kind of let me know about that. And remember, I'm asking y'all where y'all from? Where is it? Where is everybody? Where are you all hailing from? And I gotta get used to having this camera on. This camera's on the side, and y'all, and I'm looking at myself from the side view. That's what y'all see. That's crazy. And it's a delay. I gotta get used to that again. Yes, yes, yes. Yep, I've been absent. People ask me that I chop my locks off, and because I showed on my Instagram I showed my hair. That's actually why I had my Instagram account in the first place was to document my lock journey from when I started them all the way up until now. So I had these locks for 10 years, over 10 years now. But the length that they are now, I cut them. I cut off like you wouldn't believe it. They used to come down to my legs. It caused too many problems. They're too heavy. Um, sit on them, go and get in the car, close the car door on them. So I cut them back. So, but a few people thought I chopped it off because I said I'm cutting them, and they assumed that when you say you cutting them, you cutting everything off. You know, you cut them all off. But nah, still some length to it. Yep, yep. So still got the locks. But who knows? I might, switch it up, man. Just do the big chop. Go back to that low before 10 years ago. Have a rejuvenation ceremony. Just cut it all off. But I don't see anybody telling me where they're from. I don't know. Everybody's ashamed of where you're from. Hmm. Must be a big delay. But I don't see anybody really responding to my last two questions. So got a few people watching. And plus I've been on here for 79 minutes. I'm supposed to be just testing this out, checking in with whoever showed up, which I did. And I'm still here, which lets you know that I'm definitely a talker. I could talk a lot. That hasn't changed. So when I do go live again, be able to have some good conversations. I look forward to it. Um, Ramsey, I stopped getting my hair braided in cornrows about 5 years ago and started losing hairline. Oh, I'm 46 now. Wow, okay. Yeah, yeah, you gotta be mindful of that. Depends on how people get their hair done. Get those tight. Some people get those tight braids, be pulling your hair out. Yeah, I went through that whole phase. What's crazy, I went through different time periods. I had um used to have like cornrows, different cornrow styles, then chop all my hair off. Wore different low cut styles, obviously the temp temper tapers and stuff like that. Then I let it grow out, went through a whole nother cornrow era of time. Boop, chopped it off. Then I went through a third cornrow era, let it grow out. And then from there, instead of chopping it off, I went to locks. That was about over 10 years ago. Yeah, 2014. That's when I got my locks put in or got them started. 2014. Yes, yes. But other than that, listen, I'm gonna say appreciate you all are tuned in, keep me company a bit. Let me work out these little kinks and stuff and get used to this little awkwardness. Plus me having my camera on, seeing this angle. This thing's supposed to let me go back over here. There we go. Gotta zoom out a little bit. There we go. Zoom out. Looks a little different in zoom. All right, but anyway, gotta get used to all this good stuff again. So just working out the little kinks, get my feet wet again. But I appreciate y'all hanging out and give me a couple of ideas for when I do live stream. Make sure you subscribe here and the notification bell so you'll know when we are live. All right, and be me, Emmy Cat, for sure. And then you all participate. I always give the link out, have a panel discussion because trying to talk to people with this latency or this delay, sometimes it get a little frustrating. Like I'll ask a question, like I'll sit here and wait 2 minutes. But then if I just wait in silence, then it's a 2 minutes of silence. Then if I keep talking, I'm mentioning things that people will respond to at that point. And then when somebody finally responds to the 2 minute ago statement that I made, now I'm trying to answer that, but I'm seeing in real time something that needs to be addressed at the same time. So it's a whole bunch of frustration and confusion. So it's always good for you guys to hop on the panel. So don't be afraid. If you don't have a camera or you don't want to put your camera on, I'm not one of those type of people that require people to have their cameras on. It's been a long time since I had my camera on, so I'm not into that. Um, be nice if everybody had the cameras on, but if you don't, you don't. But um, I want to keep this environment respectful, professional, and progressive. That's the most important thing is to progressing these conversations. If there's any disagreement, let's try to work for a solution because two things are most likely cannot be right at the same time. So if something bump heads, then hey, discuss it, talk it through. That's what it's about. That's the benefit of true argumentation and debating. Not this stuff of who outperforms somebody, who people like more than the other and stuff like that. It's not a popularity contest or anything. Shouldn't be. So um that's what y'all look forward to. And then make sure you subscribe to my Wujao channel because I have a lot to say about health, about politics. You notice I haven't mentioned anything about the whole Trump um, regime and Democrats versus Republicans, liberals versus conservatives, all this other stuff that's going on. There's so much going on that I'm like ready to jump on it to talk about that stuff too. But it's a time and place for it. But other than that, I'm gonna say peace to everybody. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of your weekend. Next time I go live, hopefully I'll have a proper microphone and I'll be able to stream from a streaming platform outside of Zoom. Right now I'm in Zoom. So, and I don't really want to be doing that. All right. So, um, if y'all think of any topics under this video, once it's done under the video, put it in the comments because I'll check out the comments. All right, and hopefully, and then spread the word for other people that you may feel that may benefit or enjoy these kind of conversations that we're used to having on this channel. All right, and we'll talk about whatever, but just don't expect me to get into the quicksand, the dead stuff. All right. So anyway, other than that, I'm gonna say peace to everybody and Shimon Hotep. See y'all next time. and don't have any outros or anything like that. So this is just going to abruptly end. So I'll say peace and hopefully y'all enjoy your weekend. I gotta remember how to click off.